The naturalist role is one of those roles where a lot of people do sleep on, but in this video we're going to go over 8 tips and tricks to make your life a lot easier, as well as making money a lot easier with the naturalist role. If you like this kind of content, why not consider subscribing? It's free and it helps the channel out a lot. Okay, so the first tip is for those of you who want to get all of the pelts as well as all the samples for the legendary animals. When you come across a legendary animal in free roam, the last thing you want to do is go through the animal feed guide to see what exactly you have left to do with them. So I put together this handy little tick list that you can tick off while you come across in free roam. I put a little PDF up over on my website that you can download. Just go here and click download, but I will post it on the community tab as well over in my Reddit also. The next tip is a game changer for those of you who don't know it, or for those of you who think it's been patched. It has not. You can double dip on the free roam animals that spawn for you by getting samples, as well as getting the carcass that you can throw into materials to crypts. Now this will only work with like medium sized free roam legendary animals, so if you come across the bear or moose, well yeah, you're out of luck. The way this works is pretty simple. If you come across a medium-sized legendary animal in free roam, whip out your varmint rifle and sedate the animal. Then you and your posse can all sample the legendary animal. Then you want to kill and pick up the legendary animal and place it on your horse. Then flee your horse, and when you call it back, you should have the legendary animal still on the horse, in which case you can just donate it straight into Crypt's materials or throw it into your hunting wagon for later if you wish. For me personally, sedating the legendary animal straight off the bat was always my go-to, because I was trying to complete the animal field guide. So knocking them out first let me have a chance to look through the guide, see what I needed, and if I needed to kill them and skin them, well, I could always just wake them up and do that. So Harriet can be a temperamental breed at the best of times, and staying on her good books can be quite difficult. That said, if you are using the legendary animal sighting missions to go out and nab yourself some pelts, well, Harriet actually won't get mad at you for doing that, even if you come back wearing the head of the dead animal as a hat. But if you really want to stay on her good books, because maybe it's a daily or something, you can use your knife to slaughter the animal, and that won't really annoy her for some reason. So if you're ever over an emerald ranch slaughtering a bunch of animals for crypts, or if you're hunting some bucks or deer in free roam, just remember, if you can knife it and slice it, well, Harriet won't care. The next tip is fundamental for the trader role, and that is you can use Harriet's sighting missions to nab yourself some legendary animal pelts and fill up your trader materials very, very quickly. I know a lot of people know this, but there is a lot of new players there that don't, and I always have to make sure that they know this, as the trader role can be a bit of a grind to fill up those materials. But basically, once you reach rank 5 on the naturalist role and the sighting missions open up, instead of getting a sample like Harriet asks, you can just kill the animal and get its pelt. Normally what I'll do then is just throw it straight into a hunting wagon when I come back into free roam. That way the next time Crips is looking for materials, I can just call in my hunting wagon and fill up the materials. Now is a good time to address the fact that not all legendary animals are equal in value. So basically, if you hunt a legendary animal on the sighting mission, you're going to get way more for the pelt or the sample than you would if you come across one in free roam. Looking at the bears, for example, the Owiza and Ridgeback both spawn in free roam, and if you kill them, you will get yourself around $20 to $25, and the sample value is worth around $18 to $21. The Golden Spirit Bear is a legendary sighting mission, and although you'll only get an extra few dollars for the sample, you'll get around $56 if you're just normally selling it, and $62.50 if you're throwing this in for materials. It's also worth discussing the spawns here as well, but once you either sample or kill a legendary animal, there will be a 72-hour real hour cooldown for that species of animal, so in this case, bears. That means that if you kill the Golden Spirit Bear in a sighting mission, there will be a 72 real hour cooldown for the other 2 bears to appear in free roam. That said, if you kill a free roam one, it won't affect the sighting mission coming up, and the cooldown is per person, so if there's another person in the locale of one of those bears, it might spawn for them even if it's on a cooldown for you. So you will notice that not all legendary animals are just happy to be hunted, and some of them will begin to hunt you. And regardless of what horse and how much of a bond you've built with that horse, the truth is, once that legendary animal is coming for you and you're on your horse, you are going to get bucked off. Now your main instinct here will always be to get the higher ground, in which case you can shoot down and kill the legendary animal from a distance. If you have a cart or a hunting wagon like so, you can use that also to easily kill a aggressive legendary animal. But by far the easiest way to do this is just equip the ability card slow and steady. If you are using the ability card slow and steady, no matter what the animal does, it will not be able to knock you off your horse. This means as long as your Deadeye is full, you can just sit there comfortably on your horse and shoot the legendary animal until it's dead or it is knocked out. Which probably brings us nicely into the what is the legendary animal loadout that I would personally use. Well, I am normally a painted back player and I just normally keep that card on when I come across a legendary animal in free roam, especially if it's passive. The reason for this is, although I can't tag it with an X, it will reduce the bloom while I'm shooting at it as long as the Deadeye is active, which can help make sure that my shots are accurate, especially if I'm trying to shoot at it pretty quickly. Obviously, for the reasons I stated earlier, if I come across an aggressive legendary animal, I might switch over to slow and steady. Other than the choice of the two of them, the other kind of cards I might use while hunting legendary animals would be a card like Winning Streak. The reason I would use the Winning Streak ability card is because these legendary animals do take a lot of hits to take down, and Winning Streak will compact the damage you do with more and more shots. I think it's capped at 3. Because I'm often hunting legendary animals while I'm on horseback, I will just equip the Horseman ability card to get the boost from that. And again, because I'm normally on a horse while hunting these, using peak condition can be a great way to get an extra boost as your stamina is not being decreased as you're on your horse. To be honest, this setup is really just a general hunting ability card setup, so like it would be handy if you had that equipped while you come across them. But the truth of the matter is, like when you come across a legendary animal in free roam, you don't really have the time to go through your ability cards, so you kind of go with what's what. That said, might be worth switching in and out the slow and steady if it is an aggressive legendary animal that you come across. The next tip I have is, if you don't have it already, what you really want to be doing here is getting yourself a wilderness camp. This gives you a very quick and convenient way to craft some items from anywhere, as you just call in the wilderness camp. So if you see a daily challenge asking you to cook some items, well, that's a very quick way to do it. When you have the naturalist role as well, you might have a challenge that will ask you to craft 7 items at this camp, and the best way to do this I've always found is crafting split point ammo. But the absolute essential thing you need to hear is to pick up the pamphlet over at the fence for $1,260, which will allow you fast travel via the wilderness camp. This is because you'll be able to call this camp in from almost anywhere, and you'll be able to quickly travel to any of the major settlements. You'll also be able to travel to your camp for just $1, regardless of where it is on the map. So if you're trying to save a little bit of money and you need to go across the entire map, it might be worth calling in your camp to that side of the map and then using your wilderness camp to fast travel to your camp for $1. Also, if you need to go AFK for a little bit of time, like maybe you have some stuff to do around your house, you can also use the fast travel at the wilderness camp to become invincible and go AFK. You won't have to worry about any griefers just taking you out a few times while you're away from your computer. That said, if you are just resting at the camp or crafting at your camp, you won't be invincible and anyone can shoot you while you're at that. Finally, there is one of the garment sets that you can use with the ability card Never Without One. The Never Without One ability card allows you to take one shot in the head without dying as long as you are wearing a hat. This used to work with all of the garment set outfits, but unfortunately Rockstar patched it, so now it only works with one of them, which is the beaver hat. So if you track down any of the legendary beavers, create a garment set with it, you will be able to equip the Never Without One ability card and take one shot to the head without dying. Obviously, this would be very useful in PvP, and what makes it even more useful is you can quickly re-equip that hat by just going into the menu system and re-equipping the beaver hat. If you own the Naturalist role, also it is possible to be able to spawn the ghost of some dead animals at your campsite. First, you need to have the Naturalist role and have reached rank 5 to unlock the Vitalism Studies pamphlets. These pamphlets allow you to become an animal for a short period of time in a few locations. There are 4 pamphlets from you to choose from: the buck, the rabbit, the boar, and the opossum. To do this, you must first collect either 3 or 5 plants, depending on the animal, which are called Harrietum officinalis and are scattered across the map. Here are all the locations of the plants across the map, and I'll also put a link in the video so you can just find some exact locations of a few. But anyway, once you've acquired these pamphlets, you will be able to go to your camp during the nighttime, and now when you rest by the fire, you should see a new prompt called Burn Harrieta officinalis. Of course, you will need some of the plants to burn to do this. But depending on which pamphlets you own, you will see a different ghost around the camp. And if you want to add another ghost, just throw on another plant to the fire. This is definitely one of those little secrets that not a lot of people know, believe it or not, but it's definitely cool to show some people. But now let me know in the comments, do you have any tips, tricks, or secrets that I may not have covered in either the Naturalist role or just the game in general? Would love hearing from you guys in the comments. Also, let me know, is there any of these that you have learned for the first time by watching this video? Alright people, massive thanks to everyone who supports the channel, especially to the members. You guys are incredible. I'll catch you all again.